Divesting gone wrong. How white men really feel about divestors. Shout out to the subscribers who sent me these clips. White men do not see divestors as human, only wet tools after white women don't want them. Here's 45-year-old stripper Nomi Nunchux, who's built like an old white woman. She has a biracial daughter and the white father is a deadbeat.
I am owed $73,506.17 in unpaid child support. For my only daughter, I only have one child, and she's 24 years old. Do you know how many times I've been in jail? How many times I've been arrested out the strip club? And he has yet to even go.
She only works at white strip clubs, so why is she asking black men for anything?
Into the strip clubs here in Tampa, Florida, I guess mainly or predominantly white strip clubs. As you can see behind me, we are at the Dollhouse. Now, the Dollhouse is right across the street from the Pink House that wouldn't even let me in the lobby, even though I've been in the magazine. So, sorry about all that noise. So, I called, like I always do. I always call to cover my bases so I don't have anyone using any excuse not to give me an opportunity to audition. When I called, they told me they auditioned Tuesday through Saturday. Oh, that was so sweet. I'm like, yeah, Tuesday through Saturday at 9 o'clock. Just bring your 2 forms of ID and wear your lingerie. I'm like, okay, great. So I show up. I actually came, I always try to come a little early. I came during the day. Can I talk to the door girl at the front? She was really nice. But what they do at these strip clubs, when it comes to us blacks, they'll sit there and have this bill pushing off to the next trip, to the next manager or the next shift. Oh, come to this next person, whatever. But either way, so when I spoke to her, she told me the same thing on the phone, to bring my 2 forms of ID, make sure I have a lingerie style outfit to come back at about 9 o'clock that night to audition. So I did just that. When I got in the lobby, there was a white girl with black hair, and she had a lot of, those lip fillers. And I come in, I let her know, hey, I'm here. I was told to be here right after 9 or right at 9 to do an audition. So she says, she picks up the phone, picked the phone up, like she called herself. It was so obvious that she was not talking to anyone on that phone. There were 2 dancers that were standing at the desk. She picks up the phone as if she's going to call and speak with the manager. And she says, hello? Yeah. Okay. Come back in May. I said, come back in May? I'm like, there we go again. So anywho, I am off to the next club and kind of see how that's going to go, and I will keep you updated on that journey. We need our own strip club. Black women, we need an upscale club for black women. We need to have that in every single city, just like they have theirs in every single city. And it's very annoying because if I really want to work somewhere, this is where I want to work. I'm not wanting to work in a club where girls are clapping their That's just not me. You know, that's a different area of my life, maybe when I was younger. But as you get older, there are clubs that accommodate women like myself. We just don't have them in the black community. If I had money, that's the first thing I would do.
Here's what a white man left on her Facebook page when she was complaining about white people not hiring her.
I work in predominantly white clubs. If you guys have followed me, you're pretty aware of that. So there's a huge... They make it very obvious, too, about the fact that we don't make the same amount of money as the white girls do. And I'll give you an example. But there's a reason behind it, and I'll tell you. So, Las Vegas, Spirit Rhino, the clubs there are 24 hours. So you have day shift, night shift, and grade. Usually when the night girls come on, they want all the day girls gone. But if you're making money, they understand you sit with a customer, no big deal. I guess this dude was a high roller, and one of the black girls was sitting with this guy. He was really enjoying her time. So he... paying her very well. Like I said, obviously he was a high roller. Well, management sends a bouncer over there. So when the bouncer gets there, he said, hey, you've made enough money. It's time for you to go. Yeah, and then replace the black girl with a white girl. It's like, I'm stunned. Not surprised anymore, but definitely stunned. So I'm like, all right, great. Another situation that happens, they always trying to get us to tip them. And they always call us cheap because we don't tip as much. So we was having a conversation about that. It was me, an Asian girl, Hispanic, all the minority girls. And we talked to the bouncer and was like, hey, you know, you're always trying to hustle us for a tip. How come you don't ever bring us to any tables? So he said, well, they don't ask for you. So my other girlfriend asked him, well, who did they ask for? And he said, well, they just asked us to bring beautiful women to the table. And so she was like, do we not fall in that category? You know what I like to do. You know what I mean. But the thing about it is, especially when you're working in a club like Las Vegas, like the Spirit Rhino, they literally have a separate list of girls that they just call and tell them to come in, and the money is just sitting there waiting for them. Meanwhile, me and everybody else in the club trying to figure out who even got the money to even offer us, and yet you still want me to tip you just as much as this girl who had made, I don't know how many thousands of dollars to tip you, and that's absolutely just impossible. Another scenario is when we were in Las Vegas opening up Treasures. Girl, I'm from Houston. Treasures, okay. We later found out that they paid the airfare for the white girls, the blondes, big boobs, you know, because we chit-chat with them. And basically the niggas had to figure out how to get there. Another way thing that doesn't make it that great is when you have athletes. I've already talked about this in my previous TikToks when it comes to these athletes, and it only happens when we're in integrated clubs, when it's predominantly white clubs. Because it never happens when it's all black clubs. And like I told you about Markhenry, asked me to come to the table, you know what I mean, and then asked a white girl to come to the table and literally give her $1,000 in my face and turn around and give me like 60 to 100 bucks. Or even with Dennis Rodman, you know, I guess it's really dark in there, and you don't know if I'm a non-black or not. And you'll tip me money, and then I'll come speak to you, and you look at me as if you made a mistake about giving me the money. This is not, I mean, this happens all the time. Even when I was Miss Hawaiian Tropic, even, you didn't get paid for that shit. Even when I worked at Hooters, it's just an ongoing issue. That's why we should have our own upscale clubs with memberships only, a dress code enforced, strict dress code enforced, and also a age requirement. 35 and up I'm willing to go down to, but I prefer 40 and up. Anyway,
Jam switching jobs.
But having a customer sue her is a first for the statuesque dancer who calls herself Nomi.
He was becoming a regular, and we did become friends. I really like him as a friend, and I still do.
We had a dating relationship, and on May 3rd, we had broken up.
Robert Wallace says he loaned the dancer about $2,000, and he wants it back along with a laptop and some DVDs.
I don't believe in loans because I don't want to pay anybody back.
I know how stubborn she can be, so after a week of waiting for her to return my things, I decided to file a suit to get my stuff back.
Since the word loan doesn't seem to be in Nomi's vocabulary, and Robert says the cash and other items were not gifts, it looks like an out-of-court settlement is out of the question.
I've given him gifts too. You know, I mean, how do I get my booty and boobs back?
I did see it possibly ending this way.
now I'm getting emails, right? Every morning at about 8 o'clock, and it's 500 just saying cross the whole page. 500 emails, right? Now, I also had a cool, so I started to realize, oh, wow, it's him. And it continued and continued and continued. And I contact the cops. I was like, listen, you know, I'm getting these emails, only so much I can take. The only way that they could help me is if I were to reply to the email saying, please don't do it, blah, 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 or else they couldn't help me. I didn't want to do that because I knew if I did that, it was only going to get worse. So I had to, so I did it. Very next day, I get 1,500 emails just saying the N-word all across it. I'm just like, okay, all right, can't deal with it. So, you know, like I said, he'll be depressed and things like that. He would make threats about wanting to harm himself and things of that nature. I was trying to kind of talk him out of it or speak to him about certain things. So one day, I'm literally at CVS, and I get an alert on my phone, and it was a note from him. And it said, it was horrible. Actually, I still have it till this day. Maybe I'll read it one day. I still have it. I don't think I'm strong enough to read it, right? It was really bad. It was saying very horrible things. You name it, he said it. And that he was going to himself. So, you know, I'm like, okay. He's made threats like this before. And I was like, okay. This just didn't sit well this time with me. So I called to have the police come out and do a welfare check on him. Sorry, I don't know if I can do this. And so I was like, no, that can't be true. My daughter's in the car. She's fucking ringing me. And I'm like, are you serious? So he had it all planned out. He had, I guess, sent out all these letters to people. And maybe to his father, having to look at people make comments about him, you know, during the pandemic. I really didn't want to hear it, honestly. And, you know, I don't think I can do this.
So she dated this fat white dude who called her the N-word 1,500 times? The fact that her biracial daughter knew who he was and was screaming over him is another red flag. Divestors are delusional. White men clearly do not want her, or she wouldn't have ended up how she is today. No white man wants to pay her, including her baby daddy. Divesting gone wrong.